The news now in BBC One Wales with Darren Jordan. It's 10 o'clock.
The inquiry starts into how the space shuttle Columbia blew up over Texas. The search for evidence, a huge task to recover the charred and mangled wreckage. America in mourning, President Bush will lead a memorial service on Tuesday. Detaining asylum seekers, now the Archbishop of Canterbury supports the idea.
And after the news on a special edition of Panorama, I'll be putting your questions to top BBC correspondents about the prospect of a war with Iraq.
Good evening. NASA has promised to leave no stone unturned in the investigation to find out why the space shuttle Columbia exploded in the skies above Texas, killing all 7 astronauts on board. Officials have spent the day collecting the scattered debris and human remains found spread over hundreds of miles. On Tuesday, President Bush will attend a special memorial service at the Johnson Space Center in Houston. From Texas, here's David Willis. Well, we're obviously having problems with David Willis's package. We'll try and come back to that just a little bit later in the programme. But let's move on, shall we? Because investigators are examining everything from spy satellite images to every piece of debris from the stricken spacecraft. In particular, they're focusing on whether the shuttle's left wing may have been damaged during its launch last month. Our science correspondent, David Shookman, reports.
This is how space shuttles are meant to land. An elegant descent to the runway, the heat shields intact. That's the dark material underneath the spacecraft. And inside, the crew safe and sound. All eyes are now on tapes of Columbia's launch last month. What happened here may have sealed the crew's fate. A piece of insulation broke away and hit the left wing, which at the time didn't seem serious. But now we know that that left wing was the first part of the shuttle to fracture. What NASA doesn't know is why.
If something went wrong, we're going to find out what it was. We're going to make absolutely certain we correct that and assure that this never happens again to the extent of any human possibility.
So what do we know about what went wrong during this landing? Columbia certainly maneuvered itself into the correct position, that's nose up, to re-enter the atmosphere. So far, so good. Now, maybe the leading edge of the left wing had been damaged by that loose piece of insulation on takeoff. Or the rear of the wing was damaged. That's where sensors first reported trouble. In either case, the heat shield protecting the shuttle with heat-resistant tiles could have been breached catastrophically. So what does this disaster mean for the space effort, especially for the International Space Station? Well, only the space shuttle can lift into orbit the huge components needed to complete this project. This simulation shows the expansion that's planned. Now, with the shuttles grounded, nothing will happen.
The International Space Station is dependent on space shuttles for its continued construction. And if there were a long hold-up on constructing the International Space Station, that would have serious implications for our future exploration of the solar system.
Luckily, Russia can supply the space station and its 3 astronauts, and a Russian cargo rocket was launched there today. This will keep the space station ticking over, but as for dreams of man's future travel to Mars and beyond, for the moment, dream on. David Shookman, BBC News.
Well, let's go back to the day's events in Texas now. Here's David Willis.
Nobody here will forget the day the heavens opened and parts of the space shuttle landed at their feet. This sleepy suburb in eastern Texas is strewn not only with parts of the fuselage, but with personal items, such as a shoulder harness, an astronaut's helmet, and a shoulder patch bearing the names of all 7 members of the crew.
This is something personal from one of the crew members, and it's to me, it's a stamp of the whole tragic situation.
Tragic indeed. The debris also includes several body parts. Investigators are thought to be preparing a hangar at a nearby airport in which to store all that they've recovered. For people here, the episode began with a sonic boom as Columbia re-entered the Earth's atmosphere, followed by the violent shaking of their homes. Travelling at more than 12,000 miles an hour, the space shuttle suddenly sprouted several separate vapour trails. 10 minutes later, wreckage started cascading through the air.
Our whole house began to shake. We have an iron railing around our bed. Literally had to hang on to the bed not to be shook out. I lived in California, and the first thing I thought is, this is an earthquake. And then I thought, well, this can't be an earthquake. Heard 3 consecutive booms. It sounded like somebody was hitting our house with a sledgehammer.
Eyewitnesses also say that debris literally rained down on this small town, littering it with wreckage from the space shuttle. In fact, there's wreckage strewn all along this street, but also pieces are being recovered in neighbouring states, and that's posing a major problem for the recovery teams. It's a massive undertaking, searching forests and fields for key pieces of wreckage, some as small as a pebble, others virtually the length of a car. Officials concede it's a mission that will last for months and possibly years.
There's a number of remote areas, national forest, private forest property in our county, and there's debris that we're not going to find anytime soon.
Nobody here can believe that Columbia's voyage has ended in tragedy over Texas. The battle now is to establish what went so badly wrong 40 miles above the Earth. David Willis, BBC News, Eastern Texas.
President Bush has led the United States in prayers as the astronauts were remembered in special services nationwide. Our correspondent Nick Bryant reports from Cape Canaveral in Florida, where the shuttle was due to land.
This is a community which believes the future belongs to the brave, that the conquest of space is worth the risk to life. Since early this morning, thousands have come to the astronaut memorial at Cape Canaveral's Kennedy Space Center, a place where they honor the brightest and the best.
It's a very hard day. We watched it go up on January 16th. It's very sad to see all this.
I look forward to seeing the next one go up, and the one after that, and the one after that, and knowing that they all will come back.
You think that'll happen?
Yes, sir, without a doubt.
This monument commemorates the lives of 17 spacemen and women lost over the past 30 years. Another 7 names will soon be chiseled on the wall.
We've been through this before, and it hurts, and it takes a long, well, you don't ever get over it, but it takes a long time for the hurt to go away.
At church services this morning, people found it hard to contain their emotions. Virtually everyone here is connected in some way with the space program. Some were engineers who'd helped in the refit of Columbia. Privately, they told us their grief was tinged with guilt, that they'd somehow failed the crew.
We have eternal life.
Here at Cape Canaveral, there are worries for the future of the local economy. 12,000 jobs were lost when the shuttle program was grounded the last time. This right now, a community torn between dread and desire, desperate to get the shuttle back into space, fearful of the grave risks that involves. Nick Bryant, BBC News, at the Kennedy Space Center, Florida.
Well, let's talk to our Washington correspondent, Matt Fry, who's at the White House now. Matt, we understand that the NASA press conference has just started. Are there any signs they're making progress at all?
I'm afraid I can't tell you. It's literally started this second. I think one encouraging thing is that there was so much data from the space shuttle that would have been stored at mission control. It's not like the crash of an airplane where you have to look for the black box. The black box is already in mission control itself and all the data that's come in from the space shuttle. So they're already being able to look at what may have gone wrong. But what the conclusions are, we simply can't tell at this stage.
Matt Fry at the White House, thank you very much indeed. In Germany, Chancellor Schröder's Social Democrats have suffered crushing defeats in 2 state elections. The Chancellor has won support for his opposition to a war against Iraq, but that failed to win over voters.